Morning guys, it's Wednesday the 13th of January 2021 and this is today's starter. Hit pause on the screen so you can have a go at answering these questions. I'd like you to especially focus on the recap here to make sure you've really remembered how to change your units of measurement, your meters, your centimeters, millimeters and kilometers. I'll give you a couple of seconds to hit pause and then we'll look at the answers to the starter. Okay, and now for the answers. So, pause your screen to give yourself a mark. Remember, give yourself a tick if you got it and a dot if not. Today we're looking at adding and subtracting lengths. And my first question for you is, do you know what length means? Do you know the difference between length and width? What about height? So when we talk about length, we're talking about how long something is, and sometimes that's the same as width, sometimes it's a little bit different. But for example, if I asked you how long your walk was to school, or how long your hair is, how long a piece of string is, you're measuring the distance between those 2 points. When we talk about width, we're talking about how wide something is. For example, a TV screen is measured in terms of its width. You could have a widescreen TV. When we talk about height, we're talking about how tall or how high something is, like your own height, my height, or the height of Big Ben in London. We're asking how tall it is. Today, we're going to be looking at adding lengths together. So here's my first question for you. Tommy uses toy bricks to make himself a tower. And we can see there's lots of measurements here on this screen, but we want to know what is the height of his tower. So when I ask about height, am I asking how wide it is? Am I asking how long it is? Or am I asking how tall it is? Hopefully you know that height is talking about how tall something is. So because we're looking at how tall it is, I'm not going to worry about these measurements that go side to side. They're measuring the width or the length. That's not what I need. For height, I'm looking at how high it is. So I want to look at these top to bottom measurements, this 53 centimetres and the 18 centimetres here. I know that I need to add these two measurements together to find out how tall it is from top to bottom, because here's the bottom point and here's the top point. So I need 18 add 53. I can use my column method to add these numbers together. So 3 add 8 is 11. I have to carry the 1 over. 5 add 1, add the one we've exchanged at the bottom, gives us 7. So we know that the height of this tower is 71 centimetres. But what if I'm looking at the length, not the height? If I'm not looking at the height, I'm not looking at these top to bottom measurements. If I'm looking at the length, I'm looking at these side to side measurements to see how long it is. So I can see here, I've got 23, I've got 12 centimetres again, and 17 centimetres. These are the measurements that I need to add together to find out how long this tower is. Now, I can add these in any order. I could add these all at once, I could break them down, it's entirely up to you. What works for me is looking at these and seeing that I've got two of the same numbers, 12 and 12, and if I add those together I know I get 24, because 12 times 2 is 24. Now I'm going to look at what numbers I have left. So I've got 23 centimetres, 24 centimetres and 17 centimetres. I know that 7 and 3 make 10, so I'm going to add 23 and 17 together, and that gives me 40. So now I have 40 centimetres and I have 24 centimetres left to add on. And when I've done that, I get 64. So I know the length of that tower is 64 centimetres. Now, I've put a question on the board, and you might be thinking this is really easy. You might be thinking straight away, oh, the answer's 30. It's 20 add 10. We know this, Miss Maylands. Come on, give us something harder. But if you look at the units of measurement here, you'll see that this is 20 millimetres and this is 10 centimetres, and they're not the same thing. That's like me asking you to add up the number of elephants and oranges and you giving me your answer in giraffes. It doesn't make any sense if we change what we're measuring part way through. I can see I'm looking for an answer in centimetres, so I need to make these two things centimetres as well before I can add them together. Now, 10 centimetres, that's already centimetres, I don't need to change it, but 20 millimetres, can I change that into centimetres? We know that 10 millimetres is the same as 1 centimetre. So 20 millimetres is going to be 2 centimetres. When I've changed my 20 millimetres into 2 centimetres, I can now add up these units of measurement because they're the same. 2 centimetres add 10 centimetres gives me 12 centimetres. Now that's an answer that's very different to 30 that we originally thought. So always be careful, check that your question has got both of the same units of measurement. Okay, let's have a look at the next question now. So here I've got 1 metre and 80 centimetres. Add something centimetres gives me 2 metres. Now again, I've got lots of different units of measurements here. I've got some metres, I've got some centimetres, and I want my answer in metres at the end. This needs to be in centimetres, this missing part here. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at a part-whole model. So 1 metre and 80 centimetres, can I put that together? Can I change that into centimetres to help me? Well, we know that 1 metre is 100 centimetres. 100 add 80 is easy, that's 180 centimetres. Now I just need to work out what's missing. 180 centimetres add something is going to give me 2 metres. I could do subtraction to find out the answer. I could count on in my head, I could count on in tens, lots of different ways to do it, but all of them will give me the same answer. 180 centimetres add 20 centimetres will give me 200 centimetres, which is my 2 metres there. Once we think about it, it's dead easy, but it's just spotting those different units of measurement and knowing how to convert them. If you're still not sure how many centimetres there are in a metre, or how many millimetres there are in a centimetre, I recommend going back to the start of the lesson and writing it down on a piece of paper to have with you while you answer your questions. It will make things a lot easier for you to refer to. I've got some more questions up here on the board. I'd like you to pause the screen and have a go at them first, and then I'll explain how to answer them together. So pause the screen, and when you're ready to check your answers, hit play again. Okay, so to start with, we have 3 centimetres, take away 10 millimetres. Straight away we see centimetres and millimetres, they're different. I need to make them the same, and I need to give my answer in centimetres. Well, 3 centimetres, already done, that's in centimetres. 10 millimetres, can I change that into centimetres? I know that 10 millimetres is the same as 1 centimetre. So I need to do 3 centimetres, take away 1 centimetre, and I'll get 2 centimetres for my answer. Now, I've got 9 centimetres, take away 80 millimetres, and I need to give my answer in millimetres. The 80 is already in millimetres, it doesn't need to change. It's the 9 centimetres that I need to change. I know that 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres. So 9 centimetres is going to be 90 millimetres, and from there it's really easy. 90 millimetres, take away 80 millimetres, gives me 10 millimetres. Now here I've got 3 units of measurement. I've got 1 metre, take away 100 millimetres, gives me how many centimetres? So here I need to change both parts of this addition sentence to be centimetres. 1 metre I know is 100 centimetres. 100 millimetres is a little bit trickier, but I know that 10 millimetres is 1 centimetre. I know that 10 times 10 is 100, so 100 millimetres is going to be 10 centimetres. So 1 metre was 100 centimetres, 100 millimetres was 10 centimetres. So now I just need to do my subtraction. 100 take away 10 gives me 90 centimetres. Okay, here I've got some different objects and I've got my rulers which go up in centimetres. First of all, I've got my train here. Now I like this one because my train is lined up with the 0 on my ruler, so I'm ready to measure. And if I go to the very edge of my train, I can see it's about 6 centimetres, so I can answer this without too much difficulty. The train is 6 centimetres long. But now I've got this tube, and I don't like this tube very much because it's not starting at 0, so it's a bit difficult to measure. I can see it starts measuring at 2 centimetres and it finishes at 6, but this is not 6 centimetres long, there's a big gap here. I'll have to move it down. I know I'm 2 centimetres up, so I need to take those 2 centimetres off. And when I do 6 take away 2, I get 4. And the way I can show you that, if we imagine this can here, if we moved it back 2 centimetres, it would measure at 4 centimetres, 2 centimetres behind that 6. How much longer is this train than the tube? Well, the train is 6 centimetres long, the tube is 40 millimetres long, and we've just worked out that 40 millimetres is the same as 4 centimetres. So how do I find out how much longer the train is? If the train is 6 and the tube is 4, well, all I need to do is subtract them, and 6 take away 4 is going to give us 2 centimetres. I could have done it in millimetres, 60 millimetres take away 40 millimetres to get 20 millimetres. Here's another word problem. So the large car is 155 centimetres longer than the small car. The large car is 4 metres and 2 centimetres long. How long is the small car? Well, my first step needs to be comparing these two. So my large car is this. We know how big it is. The question tells us. We don't know how big the small car is. We just know it's 145 centimetres smaller than this large car. I'm going to convert my 4 metres and 2 centimetres into one unit, into centimetres. So that's 402 centimetres. And now all I need to do is take away this amount here, and I'll be left with this amount, the size of the car. So 402 take away 145. Well, 2 take away 5 I can't do, so I'm going to have to make an exchange. I could be clever and change my subtraction here to a number that's easier to subtract from, but we're very good at exchanges in year 4. So we know that if we have 402, I'll just use this one down here. So 2 take away 5 we can't do. We're going to have to make an exchange. There's nothing to exchange from here, so we go to the hundreds. Exchange the 4 for 3 hundredths and move that over. Now we can exchange this to a 9 to get 12. So 12 take away 5 is going to be 7. 9 take away 4 is going to be 5. And 3 take away 1 is going to be 2, which should leave us with 257. On Teams, complete the quiz on adding and subtracting lengths. And remember, if you're stuck, come back and rewatch this video. Remember, knowing how to find those equivalent lengths, so how many centimetres in a metre, how many millimetres in a centimetre, is going to help you. So if you're still not sure about them, go back and have a second look at Monday's lesson to help you. See you soon.